Yeah. Well, everybody, my name is David Can. A little bit about myself. I used to be in the U.S. Navy. I joined in 2002, got out in 2006. I was a signal intelligence analyst. And so I lived in Japan for my entire tour, south of Japan. And I primarily looked at signals, trying to determine what's inside of them and report on it. I was really good at what I did. When I got out of the military, I wanted to go back to school and I wanted to study computer science. But I wasn't really good at math and I wasn't really good at programming either. But I just liked computers so much. And so I gave it a shot. That's when I met Dr. Chung. And I was in his discrete math class. And that's when I realized, I don't think I could do this. It's very hard. And so, Dr. Chung, he noticed I had a lot of potential because I was actually doing a lot of things on campus. Like, that's probably like UW. I was going to school at University of Washington, and I was the senator there. And so I was volunteering. I was like doing all these different things, but wasn't doing good in school. But Dr. Chung gave me a chance. He said for him to join his research group, and he said, if you're surrounded by people that are wanting to learn, people that are trying to better themselves, then it can help you too. So I thought, why not? That makes sense. So I joined the research group, not knowing what I was going to get myself into. But I met a lot of very, very intelligent people there, and everyone's working very hard, on different projects, on research papers. And so I got to contribute and be a part of it, learn how to do presentations, and learn how to research. And it kind of started building me up. But it wasn't enough. I still wasn't getting. School didn't click for me still. I just wanted to work, and so in 2009, I actually dropped out, and I went to go work for the government. And I felt that associate degree was enough. I didn't need it. I needed more education. So I became an IT support for the Marine Corps base Hawaii. So I was working there, and at some point I switched to defense contracting because I found out they make a lot of money and you have to get to travel. And so surprisingly though, I got hired on, and the first place I was sent to was Iraq. So I never thought in a million years I would go there, but I ended up going there. But before I went there, they sent me to a bunch of schools to learn how to do the job. And I'll never forget that interview. The guy, my manager at the time, his name is Manan, he asked me, he told me what he's looking for. He's looking for someone to work on synthetic aperture radars. And I was like, what is that? And he's like, yeah, we need someone to do some flight engineering work on these synthetic aperture radars, and run these sensors, on this plane. And I thought, yeah, I don't think I can do that. So I told him the truth, and I said, sir, I only know basic IT. I don't think I could do that. But he was like, no, I'm gonna give you a shot. I think you can do it. I think you have the capabilities. I looked at your resume. I saw your military background. I think you can learn this. We'll give you on-the-job training, right? And I was like, okay. So he sent me to San Diego National Labs to learn about a different type of sensor called KU band. Then he sent me to MIT for like a couple months to learn about UHF. And then he sent me to Johns Hopkins to learn about air-ground information grid systems, how to install these systems onto the aircraft, right? And so I didn't know any of this stuff, but I actually learned while I was there, just like going to school. And every night I would read the PowerPoint slides that they gave us, and I would memorize it all. Then I would do really well in putting everything together and understanding and asking a bunch of questions. So I got really good to the point where then they sent me out to the field. They sent me out to Iraq. And then it's there after 3 months that I became the subject matter expert, And it was kind of crazy because before that I didn't know anything with that. But I used that exact same style of studying and that methodology. And I applied it when I finished my contract and I came back to school. I came back really good, very a lot stronger, a lot smarter. And then I actually went to Dr. Chung to see him, and I asked him if he could get me into the IT program. And so I remember at the time we're looking at my grades, and he's like, I don't think this is possible. You have a 1.68 GPA. He's like, how can I get you into this? He said, I don't know, And then but then he made a deal, and he was like, look, you have to promise me you will get a 4.0, and you have to try hard, and I'll see what I can do. So he got me into the IT program, And then the moment I went in, I dedicated my entire life from like 7 in the morning to 9 p.m. every day until I got my GPA to 3.75. That's what I finished with. So like I pretty much had an A every quarter, and I was volunteering. I was in the labs, and I was like teaching students. So what Dr. Chung was saying earlier, if you really want to master a topic, if you can teach it, then you have it. And that's what I did. I was teaching everyone how to do subnetting. I taught everyone how to do vulnerability scanning. And so I had a lot of good knowledge. And then after I graduated, I also took right before I graduated, I was taking a bunch of security classes. And I realized cybersecurity is really fun. And maybe because I'm really into researching and reading up on things and new technologies, so I felt cybersecurity was just very interesting, made me think a lot. So I went for a master's in cybersecurity, and in my master's class, I learned how to write really well. Actually, the entire master's was a lot of writing, but actually it's very beneficial because in my role now, that's what I mainly do, is I write a lot of this thing called public relations FAQs, and therefore leaderships to read when you're creating a brand new product. So it actually all played out. And so right when I finished my master's, I thought maybe I should get my CSSP, maybe I can build my credentials up. So I actually only studied 2 months for my CSSP, and I dedicated like the exact same style, I just went all out. I just studied from morning to day, and I read like 3 chapters a day. I did the end of the chapter test, and then I would do 250 questions, and then I would do my review. So the entire day was that, and I did that for 2 months. So kind of like no life, but it got me what I needed, and I needed that because when I did my interview, I had to show really good examples. I didn't want to just say I'm joining Amazon because I love security. I wanted to show like, yeah, I love security, but also I'm doing a lot of things to better myself in this space, as well as I got the certification to show my commitment to security. So you want to show proof that you're not just saying it, but you're actually doing it too. So I did all of that to get myself an opportunity as a support engineer, for technical risk reduction. So I started off Amazon doing a technical risk, and it's funny because in school, actually, that's the subject I hated the most. It's like I hated doing risk assessments. It's just like I don't really like doing the qualitative analysis. I like on the network side, But in that space, that's what we needed, and we needed automation. And so I know a lot of you guys, I believe everyone here is going to become a SysDE, from what I understand. And that's actually awesome. That's actually what I was, essentially. So a lot of the work that I did was a lot of Python, a lot of SQL, a lot of database, and taking that data and then automating it, to perform something. And so, some of my big deliverables was like building a campaign management tool. For example, let's say you have a bunch of packages that are outdated, not compliant, right? So how do you get everyone in Amazon, all the teams, there's a lot of teams, right? How do you get them all to comply, and how do you track that? How do you see they actually did it? How do you audit it, And so I had to build a tool, and this is like one of my very first tools I built. And then again, remember, I didn't come back from no programming background. I was like not a good programmer, nothing. But because the job required it, and because that was the space that I was working in, I had to learn it, to survive. I had to. And so when I was building it, I was also doing a design review, my very first design review. I didn't even know what a design review was. And when I did it, it got rejected like 10 times. It was crazy. And I was, although I had a template, I still wasn't doing it right. I couldn't put it together. But the cool thing about these reviews is that as you get the reviews, you keep building off it, making it better and better. And then the final document is beautiful. Has everything it needs, and you can also refer back to it if you have questions. So once I had that, I built up the product. I was able to launch my first campaign that saved the company $100 million. And that's pretty good, right? Because like I was at the time just an L4. I'm an L5 now, but at the time I was just regular L4 support engineer. Only knew a little bit about programming and whatnot, but I was able to deliver that, and make a huge impact. And when you make an impact like that, you put your name on it, you can use it for your promotions stuff. So that's how I was able to promote really fast. So I joined. 6 months later, I got promoted. Like 8 months later, then I got promoted again. So I got promoted really fast because I'm able to document my work, create my deliverables, and then make those impacts. And so I don't know if any of you guys are trying to aspire to be technical program managers, but I knew I wanted to be that because they're the jack of all trades. they know everything. And usually you're given them a problem from leadership. So they'll give you a problem and they'll be like, I need you to solve this. We don't know how to solve it. We don't know anything about it, but we just need someone to figure this out. So the cool thing about it is when you get that problem, your job is to, take it and then build an infrastructure around it. And then after you create your infrastructure, you start building out the steps in order to deliver it. And if you can do that and you can show the impact behind it, then you did it, and then that's how you win. And so it's kind of nice. And so you're dealing with ambiguity, you're dealing with complexity, and you're dealing with impact. So you have all of that. And if you find that fun, and you find that interesting, then yeah, you should be at CPM, because I think it's probably the best job at Amazon. Because you still get to do the technical part, you still get to develop, if you like that, or you can still do the PM side, So you get the both of everything. You get everything, essentially. And so, what made me decide to come back to school that I forgot to mention, and I'm not sure what this part. So I was in Afghanistan. I was on this mission on the main supply route, and we lost brakes as we were coming down. And I remember they were like, brace for impact, brace for impact. They were saying that over the intercom, and I thought, holy crap, I'm gonna die. I was like, dang it, I didn't even get to go back to school. I'm like, I'm gonna die, And I just thought, like, that's it. And then as we landed, we went off the runway into the gravel, and then the fire truck came, and I thought, like, man, that's like, wow, my life just like that. And I thought, man, if I ever get an opportunity to go back to school, I'm gonna go back to school. And then the moment they said, we're gonna take the aircraft back to the States, we're gonna work on it, everybody go back home, and take some time off, And then the moment that happened, I asked if I could go to inactive status, and then I went to talk to Dr. Chung, and I took advantage of it. And the moment he gave me the opportunity, I knew this time, no matter what, I was gonna get it. And so then I dedicated everything to that. And I think a lot of times, if you just dedicate to one thing and you put your everything into it, you can achieve it. So at work, everyone says I'm very hardcore and that they call me an outlier because I'm very different from a lot of the other TPMs. A lot of other TPMs don't do all the things that I do, but it's because I'm very curious on all the different technologies and services, and I like to put everything together to create a product. And so they're like, how did you get to this level? Like, how can I get to that level? What can I do? And I don't want to give people like the assumption or the bad idea that you have to be as hardcore as me or you have to work. So I work every day on the weekends too, and I don't think that's like feasible for people, family or not. But I don't have family. I don't have anything going on. I just want to work. That's like my life, and I find it very interesting and it's fun because I'm like those type of students that is still a student. Although I'm working, I'm still a student. And so that's just who I am. And so I don't recommend that for anyone. If that's not what you like. Instead, I said just do what you like, and if you enjoy, studying and working Monday to Friday, that's great, But for me, on the weekends, I don't really have much besides nothing really going on. You do the gym, but you can only do your gym so much, right? So it's like, all right, what else can I do? I like to study. I like to work on projects and projects that relate to my work, So it's a win-win situation. So I talk to all the new guys that I hire, and I tell them the same thing, that you don't have to be as hardcore as me. You just do what you love, do what you're interested in, and work hard on that, and then build a really good network. So a lot of the people that I work with, there's subject matter experts in their field. And so a lot of times when I get things done, it's because I work well with them. I can communicate well with them. And that collaboration, is what helps me deliver. And so you don't want to be the guy that's on the thing about SDPs is I always notice that they're always like by themselves. They're just headset, just going away, But they don't talk to anybody. And I'll give you an example. There's a SE that I sit with. We sat with each other for like 2 years and we never talked, not even once, 2 years. And then we're in this meeting and then we're talking about like forecasting and stuff. And I asked her what her name was, and then I was like, do you know I've been sitting by you for like 2 years in this area, And she was so focused on that, and that's the thing about, I tell my SDEs, I say, you guys don't want to be like too focused on your work, like take a break, talk to people, socialize, like get to know people, because maybe the problem that you're trying to solve right now, someone already knows it too, So I encourage people to talk, and not keep to themselves, because I see that too many times. And I think that's a pitfall that everyone's going through. But for me, I'm the complete opposite. I talk to everybody. And as I go to meetings, I always learn something from somebody, There's always something to learn. Almost every day I feel like I learn something. And I feel if you can learn something, at least one thing every day, then you're on the right path, This program, I think, is really amazing. I did not know about this program. Had I known, I would have tried for this program. Because that's pretty amazing. You go through this program, you finish, you already have something lined up, you have OJT. And I think, man, if I had that, then I wouldn't have to go the hard way. I went a very difficult way, But I mean, I still got in. I still had to work, work very hard to make it. I just thought, wow, this is so cool that this pathway exists. And that's amazing that everyone's here. So,
I have a question and answer time. Actually, when I met him, he was not like this one.
Yeah.
I don't know how many years, 4 or 5 years you came suddenly in my office. Yeah, he left there. I know he was smart, but he didn't focus on study.
Yeah.
But I'm instructor.
Yep.
And he got the really mean one. Last time I forgot it. He said, you gave him the F at that time. Okay, sorry, but you deserve it at that time. But he come back. That time I was looking like a program grad.
Yeah, like 5 years later.
Yeah, then he suddenly come back. Looks like this. Hey, what did you do? Then he did it in Afghanistan. He cannot go outside.
Then I go outside.
All right, that's
all I do.
Then he talk about, now you are military, right? Certain point, you decide whether I can survive or I can die, or you could die, right? He went through that one in the airplane class. Then he said, my decision was coming back to school.
Yep.
Then his GPA could not get the meeting. But does not mean you can be a meeting. Talk about your story. He did a lot of story. Then, hey, I'll write the letter for you. Then I went to the committee, and I promised you that this guy will be very successful. I still remember he forgot it. He got the 4.0, take the picture. He sent an email to me.
Yeah.
And then I proved it. Yeah. And then he sent another one. He got the offer from, at that time he said, I want to go to the FBI. Yeah. Actually, he got an offer from FBI. And he took the picture. Yep. He sent it to me. And I'm so proud of that. Later, when I come back here, where are you? Then he said, I'm in the Amazon. Then that time he was invited to speak. Then I saw you. Then I brought to this guy. Also, he never had a programming. Yep. He studied by himself, for himself, Python. Because of that, security always looks like a military strategy. You have to know many things. By Python, he combined again.
Yes.
Would you talk about you are successful? Actually, because of that, I think that you are promoted because of Python.
Yeah.
Would you say that story?
Yes. Yeah. So when I joined, like I said, I did not know any programming, and the very first thing they need was to run this legacy deprecation program and build it using Python. I was like, "It's a Python? Like, what is this?" And then so I had to figure out how to create these scripts, to notify these risk owners, and how do I collect all this data, and how do I track all this stuff? So I don't know. So I remember my mentor. He's Australian, he's a DPM, and he was like trying to encourage me. He's like, "You can do this. Don't give up. You can do this." And I remember on the 6th month, I was like, "I don't know if I can do this. I was not a programmer. I'm not. I suck at this. I can't be a programmer." He's like, "Nah, you can do it, man. Are you David Can? Or you David Can?" He kept saying this. And I was like, "Okay, all right." So then I was like, "All right, let me give it a shot." So finally around March. So September 2016 I started. Around March of 2017 is when I finally delivered that script I told you guys about. And then when I delivered, it was like the best moment of my life. And the moment it clicked. Like this, I think about programming. It's like you might not understand it right away, but when it clicks, it clicks. And then when it clicked for me, I understood it. And then the rest is just like doing it. But then I got very curious because as I was writing code, I was like, "Am I writing it the right way? Can I write it better?" And then I realized maybe I should go back to school. So I actually went back to school, UW, the professional education for Python, and I did an 8-month course to fill my knowledge gaps because I really want to know if I'm actually writing code the right way. Because a lot of the code that I was writing is based off other people's code, and I don't know, like everyone's code is so different, so I don't know who is right. So I did that. I came back, and then I took all the best practice I had, and I created when we created our package, I applied all of that, so that way it's like perfect. And so then the new hires that we had, when I taught them the way how we should do it, they did that, and so we instilled that best practice, and the coding with our team, and so it was nice because it's like, wow, I finally can do it, and having that was like, it gave me a lot of confidence too, because remember I told you guys I'm an outlier, that a lot of TPMs are not like me. It's because of the coding, to be honest. It's because of my coding, because my coding allows me to pull any data from the API and manipulate and transform any way I want to tell a story, and I can use it to pretty much sell anything, to influence any team. And so I rely on it so much. Like here's an example. So we just got a new team member, right? And she wanted to do the survey. She wanted to collect a survey for what happened Prime Day, like how well we did, all the issues. And so in order for her to do it though, she would have to email 181 people, right? So it's like, you could do that or you just automate it. And so I just did it for her, right? And that's just like, when I did it, it was very quick. Maybe it took me like 20 minutes to write the script to do it. But after I did it, I was able to track it. And it only took me like a couple minutes to execute, right? So I saved a bunch of time. So I made her work load much easier. And so, the power of scripting, it just makes your job so much easier. And that's how I started getting noticed, Leadership started noticing, oh, it's that guy who does all the automation, And then it's like, and I always have really good results to show how much how much risk I'm mitigating, how much money we're saving, and I showed those impacts. So yeah, I would have to say I found was my way.
Yes. Now I want to get the question from your side. Yes. Yeah. Would you speak out who you are? Who knows? He may be looking for a team member. Who you are, and then ask the question. Yes.
So my question was, I had two actually. One was about the PMP certification.
Yeah.
So would that play at all?
Yeah, actually, it's good that you mentioned that. I took a TPM bootcamp course because I wanted to, again, fill the knowledge gaps for my role, make sure I'm doing everything right, what's right and stuff. And I remember the instructor asked, does anyone here have a PMP, And like 50% of people raised their hand, And the lady asked, is it beneficial, some other lady asked, is it beneficial to have it, Should we strive for that, would help our career? And I remember the instructor said that it is beneficial in the sense that it gives you the methodology, how to manage your program. You go through the I think it's like initiation, planning, executing, monitoring, and closing stage. And I think like it gives you a structure, it gives you something to use. I don't know if it really helps your promotion. I think promotion is always based off what did you deliver, what was the impact, But it definitely helps you in starting your task, your project, and then showing like how you track it, your milestones, your key performance indicators, all the way to completion. So I think it helps you with that final deliverable. But yeah.
And second question about so a little bit of it, not
Yeah.
a lot of people get more this course, but my question is more in data analytics side.
Yeah.
So how much in your experience and what you've done should I get into crushing probability statistics?
Yeah.
Is that more of an automated thing that's built in Python? That's something I should be able to whiteboard out.
Yeah, you should definitely be able to whiteboard it because you want to explain like your thought process, right? And for your data analysis, I recommend the Pandas module. That's what I use. And a lot of the work that I do, because I'm dealing with capacity management, so I need to look at all the different instance types, and I need to manage how many are surpluses and how many are deficits. And then I have to use the Pandas module to do the data analysis, right? And then I need to use the results to drive the capacity, whether or not we want to get rid of it or we want to keep it for teams to use. So like start with that module, and it's good because they have a MATLAB lib that you can use along with that, and NumPy. Yeah.
Yes. Any other question? No? Okay. Any TAs, do you have any question? Do you want to hire me? Why not talk kind of question? Yes. Okay. One thing also based upon Amazon, and here, so that we are doing Linux processor.
Right. Oh yeah.
How much that is important to your company? Yeah. Why? Would you explain that?
So on our DevOps, obviously Linux, right? So you have to all the command lines again, AWS S3 CLI, Linux again. So you just it's good to know that because you use it daily. So yeah, I know.
This group is using very similar model what I did. My research group, same thing. Every Friday.
Yeah.
So Friday they present.
Yep.
Then also you have to, you are doing your work a lot, but you don't know how to deliver yours. You cannot get a paycheck. Right? That's very important. A lot of techie guys here, they know how to talk to computer. They don't know how to talk to people who are using computer.
True.
That's the problem. So that's the doing that. Also, a lot of team project here doing it. Also, any kind of encouragement for them. So last statement, then they started that one from you. So
Yeah. Feel free to reach out to me. Like use me as a resource. So I always tell like anyone that I meet, any networking event, or anyone that wants to be my mentee, I said just reach out to me. I'll help you. And it's better to learn from someone who's already done all of it and messed up and all that stuff. So you don't have to repeat the same mistakes. And I do that with people that I meet. When I meet senior leadership, that I think they're like, wow, they have so much to offer. I could learn a lot from them. I always ask them if they could teach me or they could be my mentor. And I think that's the Amazon culture. Like you want to have many mentors, you want to use all the resources you have, and that way help you become successful. And then decide on what you want to be. Is Sissy the empath, or do you want something else? And if you do, you can get a mentor area in that field, and that can help you give you related work, so that you can do stuff to easily transition to it. Show that you're already doing it. Because I have a mentee who wants to be a TPM. He's a SysDE as well, and on AWS, and I've been giving him a lot of work that relates to TPM. So that way he has his artifacts to show like, yeah, I'm already doing the work. So then it's very easy for him to transition. So that's the benefit of Amazon. You can transition, you can do anything you want. It's really nice. Once you're in, go anywhere you want. So it's very easy.
thank you. Oh, question. Last question. Okay.
What would be your contact?
Oh yeah.
David King Kong. LinkedIn.
I
Yes.
just you can do that one.
Okay. Your email. Write down Amazon email.
And then at Amazon.com.
Okay. So after this one, I have to buy something coffee for him. My TAs. How do you think of my TAs? Are they doing good? In front of him, please say yes, they are doing good. By my voice, okay? Yeah. Why don't you give a big hand to my TAs? Yeah. Very good job. Okay. Thank you. Oh, we have